Hello? Oh, Francesco, you weren't first. Max was first. Oh, that's funny. Francesco, you were so fast though, buddy. So fast. So fast. Um, wow, guys, you guys didn't tell me not to go to sleep last night. I literally went to bed and within about 2 hours, of course I only got 5 hours of sleep. Frederick, how you doing? Jeff, hi from Canada, hi from the USA. You got it yesterday, Francesco. I think you were the first one in yesterday's stream, so streaming a little early today. I'm just kind of flabbergasted at what's happened overnight, to be quite honest with you. And not even with Bitcoin. We were pretty close to 3,000 as it was. Um, Frederick, I should have just given you my account to trade because, I mean, yeah, right down there at 3,000. But you said you missed it too, so. My crypto journey. Hello from Boston. Hello from Arizona over here. Welcome. Yeah, you know the bounce at 3K. You know, maybe that's kind of one of my faults for not placing those stop orders in, but you never know what's going to happen. We're having a really nice run here, guys. Really nice action. If we zoom out here on the 2-hour chart, there's really no volume like this on the 2-hour chart. Going all the way back to here, back in March. We still sold off from there. We still ended up selling off from March until, well, this is just later in March, but I mean, this move is impressive. Don't get me wrong, guys. This move is very impressive. Anton, you got in your position late. Where did you get in? I honestly think because I live in the United States, I honestly think that China is paying the U.S. back for all those decades of them having to be up overnight trading our markets. Now they're paying us back and putting bottoms in when we're asleep. That's really what it seems like. They're making the U.S. pay up. It seems like a global trading. Fuck me. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you here. You know what? There's very strong action here, extremely strong. I'm actually not even in yet. I've really been focused on the channel, especially lately, since you guys have really been making it active. So we're starting to pull out of this nice consolidation. I mean, we had this consolidation, and then we popped up here, and this is kind of where I came into play, right about here. So I don't think this is a bad time to get in. We could see a leg back down to this 3,400 area. It's hard to say exactly. Let's look at this volume. The volume is still very high here. The volume is still pretty high here, which is good going forward, but we may see a deceleration. We're probably clear here until this trend line. And then we have a couple of trend lines here in Bitcoin. We have a couple of trend lines here in Bitcoin. Yeah, we all fear a dip at any time could happen. You know, that's fear and greed in the market. That's something you have to overcome as a trader. I'm not perfect in that regard. I'm not perfect in that regard. I have a fear of catching a bottom and it going lower, which stops me from getting in here. That's a bias that I have. You guys need to learn and start to place trades to go ahead and catch these bounces on the upside. You just kind of have to jump in and see what happens. To be honest with you. You have to pick a good level. The trade, should make sense to you. If you don't get in here, there's not much wrong with sitting on the sidelines. There's nothing wrong with being patient, but you can be too patient and complacent, and you don't want that to happen. Hey, Michael, are you in the U.S. too? So one thing to keep in mind, I do my best to try to steer you guys in the right direction. At the same time, everyone's position is different, right? So if you're not in Bitcoin, I don't want you in Bitcoin down here. You know, you don't need to be putting money to work while it's falling. Now that it's done falling for now and it's rising, it's okay to put some money to work. It's okay to put money to work. You just have to be wary of, you know, possible selling. But we have lots of good volume here. This could be, so levels going forward, where could resistance levels be? We see resistance a little bit right here at the 375 area. We see some resistance here at 4,000. That's also, 4,000 is the harder term resistance. So we could definitely see a bounce from here into 4,000 without much fanfare. You know, you can't say you should have bought late last night, guys, because, you know, we've been talking in the chat rooms about, or this chat room, I should say. You know, we've been talking here. We've been chatting during several time frames. So, all right, let's check out that 100-day moving average. Excuse me. Where are my moving averages? So yeah, there's the 100 moving average, kind of nice. Looks like it does kind of place in some bottoms. Let's just back up here. So this is my Bitcoin 1200 video right here, talking about this type of drawdown happening. So we can get a nice bounce right here. Again, we have to look at the levels. We have to look for highs being broken. So this is a double top right here. Right now we're probably sitting right here in this particular formation. So I'm not saying we double top out and go lower, but it definitely looks like it could be in the cards. I just want you to be aware of that, guys. I don't want to scare you from trading or taking positions, but I don't want you to get super bullish and then hold through another big downturn. So if we do get a pullback up into this area, see what the price action does and just be aware that it could sell off again. But that 100 moving average looks like it does have some nice, some nice confluence to it. Bounced right off of it, which is pretty good. Actually, yeah, we spiked below it, so. You know, I think like I said, I think you're clear to take positions here. Again, we see resistance up here at the 3,800 and the 4,000 level. It kind of, yeah, see it consolidated around this consolidation area right here, and then we went through that. So now we're looking for further consolidation, which is kind of up here towards, like I said, the 3750 area, and then up towards 4,000. So, yeah, guys, you know, I wish we could have been further in this chart here. We're a little long in the tooth. I mean, especially it seems that way coming from 3,000 to 3,600. That's a 20% move up. But Bitcoin's had quite a move down from 5,000. So that's about a 40% move to the downside. And now we're only up 20%. So it's not too bad. Let's go back to Ethereum. So Ethereum, yeah, we came down, almost touched 200 and bounced right off of that. GDAX at 3865. Are you serious? 3,800 on the GDAX? That's where all my freaking money is. So they're really pumping this thing. Get GDAX. I can't get GDAX from here. I'm assuming it's going to be their Coinbase one. Yeah, so what's going to happen is US is coming online, and they're, you know, and we're buying this up. We're gonna get to a consolidation point at some point in time. It's hard to say exactly when. At least that's my feeling. That's my feeling. As this large volume starts to subside, we'll start to see where the chips lie. So again, I think you're clear to take some positions. You need to be just a little bit on edge. We're still overall in a downtrend. We're still below. Okay, so let's do this. Let's break out to the daily chart. Again, I don't want to be too bearish on you guys. Don't base your trading decisions solely off of what I do, especially to the buy side. I mean, calling these tops, this was pretty obvious. This was really obvious up here, right? So another thing that's obvious is that we have this head and shoulders neckline in place. So as long as we're underneath this neckline, we can bounce into this and fail again. Okay, so I'm not saying you're not going to make money here. I'm not saying you can't hodl here. So I don't want to completely steer your guys' trading. You need to be your own traders. You can't just base off my signals. You need to understand your plan of action and see what you're comfortable doing. But I'm trying to teach you guys fundamentals. I'm not trying to trade your accounts. Does that make sense? So yeah, so going back to the daily, let's look at some of these. Let's look at these bars on the daily chart. Let's get some greater perspective here. Okay, so I had a thought earlier. Let me clear some of these trend lines out now that we've kind of some of them have come to pass. Okay, so this is Ethereum. This is a 100-day on Ethereum. I don't know if you can take a 100-day on Ethereum seriously, to be honest with you, because it doesn't have that much price history. I mean, 100 days ago, for crying out loud, it was, what was Ethereum 100 days ago? So yeah, this is 100 days ago on Ethereum. I mean, there's a lot of action happening here. But if you take this 100-day into account, and even if you don't, we're still underneath this neckline in the head and shoulders pattern. So Frederick, let me say this about plans, and I'm a lot better giving advice than I am taking it myself. And don't take my inaction as how do I say this? Well, don't take my inaction as a reason for you not to take action. Okay? If you have a plan, trade your plan. You don't have to do it with your full account. You can do it with half of your account, 25% of your account, just to see if it works. You know, if you're testing something out, if you're fairly new and you're testing something out, scale in. You can go ahead and scale in. You can trade your plan. If you want to get in a $1,000 position, say, okay, I'm going to have an automatic. Yeah, I know it's too late now, but don't be too discouraged, because Bitcoin, Ethereum in the long term will go up. Scratch that. Don't beat yourself up too much. Trade what you see. And that's about it. You can just trade what you see. That's all you can do. So we are where we are here. Let's have a trading plan as of here. Let's not have a trading plan based off of down here. Okay? That's kind of what I've been trying to say. Don't trade off of what you missed out on. Trade off of what's ahead of you. Yeah, so when you look at the daily, Frederic, that's what I was trying to get to. And I'm not trying to make you guys bearish or base your decisions. I want to give you the chart patterns that I see so you can make decisions. So this 100 moving average, we're under this 100 moving average, okay? Now, again, don't put too much. This is probably like 5% of your decision making. But this head and shoulders neckline should be part of your decision making, because we're still under this, okay? So we talked about trading a bounce from the lows. Unfortunately, we missed that if you're in the United States. Unfortunately, we missed that. So now we can see a bounce into this neckline, and we can still fail. We can still fail based off of a neckline bounce, and that would be the dead cat bounce. If this happens, if we bounce into this neckline and fail at this neckline, that is extremely bearish. That is extremely bearish. So think about this, right? So we talked about this measured move in Ethereum. Now I'm looking at Ethereum. We can see the same in Bitcoin. we talked about this measured move, which didn't quite come to pass to the 180 level in Ethereum. But, we drew a bubble because these things don't always exactly hit their targets, but we drew a bubble. Bubble's been completed. Now, if we bounce up here and continue down to the downside, this is definitely in play. This 140 area would be in play if we don't bounce above this neckline. If we bounce above this neckline, then we have a change in trend, and now we're bullish again. Now we're bullish again. Thanks, Unknown. I appreciate that. So, and again, I can't emphasize this enough, guys. During this downtrend here, I was really, really certain we were going to get down here. I mean, that was my opinion and my feeling, and based on what the charts told me. Now that we've hit that, it's a different ballgame. You have to shift your mindset. You shift your mindset to now, okay, we've hit this downside target. You have to be questioning now, is the move to the downside over? If it is, you want to be aggressive. If it's not, you want to be defensive. And right now we can be in a neutral mindset at this particular moment in time. Just a neutral mindset. I usually don't give fibs a lot of weight. I never pull them. So if you watch my Bitcoin 1200 video, I did pull a Fibonacci. And that's basically because it's such a long-term chart and you have to have some kind of a guideline, and the fibs seem to work in that scenario. So I pulled a fib in that particular case. But Fibonacci's do work. If you trade off of Fibonacci's, learn those really well and make that your trading strategy. Because any strategy can work as long as you have an edge on the market and as long as you trade that plan. But, I wouldn't switch between strict price and action and fibs and all these other things. I really wouldn't try to switch, if that makes sense. So I'm actually going to go ahead and throw on Twitter that I'm live streaming. You guys, I am on Twitter now. If you guys don't know about it, it's Real Crypto Trade. If you want to go ahead and spread that around, that'd be cool. I'd appreciate that. Get some more fun people in the chat room here. A GDAX 120 Bitcoin sell at 3,800 was blue in less than 20 seconds. Twitter is real crypto trade. Real crypto was taken, so I asked you guys, and it's Real Crypto Trade right here. So I'll put that in the chat room here. I actually just started this last night, so I've been meaning to get on it for a while, but it's been really busy. So let's go back to the 15 minutes, see what we're doing here. Yeah, we're still, like I said, you're clear to take positions here. We're still going higher. I have not. I feel kind of a little guilty about that, but that's my my problem, not your guys's. You guys trade your accounts. Don't trade off of my decisions. So I'm trying to provide you guys with good analysis and some good education. That's really all I can do. I mean, so now if we end up seeing some sideways action at some point, if we start to see some sideways action here, that would be really healthy for an entry. I mean, what you want to see during a run up like this is some kind of a bull flag with a bit of a longer term. It's, unfortunately, like I said, I got in about 7 o'clock. It was already pretty high. I mean, I guess I could have gotten in, but I had to take my kids to school. You know how that goes. So we're seeing a little bit of capitulation here. I'm not going to do play-by-play. That's not really my thing. but we do see a little bit of resistance right here that we're going to have to go through that. Then we're going to have to go through this. Was it 285, 288? Yeah, thanks, Opportunity. I appreciate it. I'd like that. I'm trying to think of a topical video that like a lot of people would like. If I could have one video that got a little bit more views, I could probably hit that 10,000 pretty quick. So pretty much a month and 5 days in, I think we're at what's the subscribers at now? Like 1,600 or so. So, but a lot of that was based on this my Bitcoin 3,000, 1726 I'm at right now. So we'll see where we go. We'll see how we get there. Would I buy or sell at 39.49? If you have a position, I say add to it. So we're gonna be bullish, Anton, for the we're gonna be bullish for a while, for a little while. I can't say if that's gonna be days or hours but so we have these resistance lines right here that we need to come up and test and break through. So this is really good action on the downside here, but we need to break through these levels before we're fully bullish. Yosemite Sam, that's tough, man. That's difficult. So we're running here. We're running here a little bit. There's a little bit of fear of missing out happening here. I mean, we're all feeling it in the chat room. I'm even a little itchy to get in. I could have gotten in a little bit lower, but I would like some kind of consolidation, something like this. Because what ends up happening is these large moves, like they go straight up, they can come straight down. So I'm I am sitting on the sidelines still, but if you guys trade your plans, don't trade on based off of what I do. I don't want to be the cause of you missing out on a profit if this does go up. Just put it that way. At the same time, I don't want to be responsible if you lose money too. So you can see my position. I'm trying to stay objective, and I'll be more than willing to answer questions and give some advice. But yeah, it's difficult in my position. I don't want to be responsible for your guys' account. I want to give you information. So if you want to test something, if you want to get in here with a smaller position. That's the only thing I can say. Get in here with a smaller position. And then if it starts to edge up on you, you start to make some money, then you can start leaning in. You don't have to make one buy. You can make you can make as many buys as you want. Could Bitcoin form a head and shoulders? Well, it did form a head and shoulders. We actually drew it out here. I don't know if I still have it drawn, but there is a head and shoulders in Bitcoin. And if you didn't see my Bitcoin 3000 video, which I'm surprised, I thought you've been a subscriber for a while. Kimbo Slice. Are you Kimbo Slice? Kimbo Slice, everybody. There is a head and shoulders in Bitcoin. Right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. We drew the neckline. I think I drew it right here. And we've already hit our target of 3,000. So there was a head and shoulders. We've been talking about we've been talking mainly about Ethereum, but Bitcoin has always been in the fold. And the most recent probably week or so we have talked about this. So yeah, so there's your Bitcoin head and shoulders pattern that has played out. So we're sensing a new market direction. I would like to say that I could have told you guys to place your orders in at 3,000 and everything would have been hunky-dory. At the same time, I don't think that, now I would look like a genius, but if it didn't work out, you guys would hate my guts. So yeah, Head and Shoulders they have a preferable pattern, but the general rationale behind a Head and Shoulders is a low, a high, and then another low. It's a reversal pattern. This is not an exact Head and Shoulders, but via this neckline, this is kind of an inferred neckline right here. So that's why I didn't catch it right away. Like I caught the Head and Shoulders in Ethereum pretty much right after this drop. That's where I caught the Head and Shoulders in Ethereum. Go back and look at the videos. I talk about it like right in this level over here. So after this is formed. And this is a very, very textbook Head and Shoulders pattern. You're right about that. They're at the same level. They're about equal distant from the top. Although that's not a criteria, that's something I've noticed that is a good pattern. You're right. In Bitcoin, this isn't ideal. These are farther away from the head. They're at different levels. So it's not ideal, but you know what? There's nothing is perfect in the stock market or the crypto market either. I am not off today. So actually I'm gonna send an email that I'm working from home today. It's Friday. I haven't been feeling that good the past couple of days. If you noticed a change in my voice, if not, whatever. I haven't been feeling that great. ETH on the 1 minute, up and handle. Yeah, kinda. Kinda looks like a cup with handle. I mean this yeah, basically. Yeah, so here you go, Frederick. Let's say we buy here. We got 6 to 8% to the upside before we hit some resistance levels, and then we kind of see where we go from there. So yeah, there's definitely a little cup with handle forming there on the 1 minute. I'm not mad at that. Have you seen the bottom at 3,000? We've definitely seen a bottom at 3,000. If it's the bottom, you know, the chart will tell us that. The charts will tell us that. But we've seen a bottom for sure. Yeah, we've seen a bottom. So, and there are lots of bottoms too. Keep that in mind. And a lot of them are tradable as long as you keep the price action in mind. Yeah, yeah, guys, we're up 25% off of these lows right here. That's a phenomenal move in basically just 5 hours time. Unfortunately, I was asleep 5 hours ago. So we're hitting this resistance level right here at this 37 area, but it's not hard resistance, but it is a resistance level. When we start getting up towards this 3,400 level, if we get this high, which we probably will, good 7% move to the upside. So at this point in time, you can trade this in a number of ways. I'm not advocating one or the other, but I'm just saying these are some strategies that people take when you see an uptrend like this. They'll buy in a dip. So if we get a dip on some low volume here at some point, that would be a good time to get in. I can't say it's not going to run up here before it dips, but some people would buy on a dip. They'll buy off of a breakout of some fashion. Again, there's really no levels. Now, let's zoom out a little bit, give you a little more perspective. So, I mean, I'm a little bit peeved that I didn't get in down here. I got to be honest with you guys. And I've said it a couple of times. If you're new to the stream, this happened when I was asleep. Frickin' China paying the U.S. back for them having to stay up overnight to trade our markets. They're paying the U.S. back. Now we have to stay up overnight to catch any moves in this market. So let's take a look at this V bottom right here, right? So let's call this V right here. You know, we're somewhere in this range right here. Now, granted, this is much more vertical, but we're definitely somewhere on this uptrend. If we get a consolidation and then we pop up, that's a really good time to buy. That would be your excellent time to buy, because if this comes up and you buy here and this goes up to 4,000 and fails on you, that's not going to feel too good. That's not going to feel too good at all. Now the volume here is really good volume. Do I see us crashing again? You know, my opinions don't matter, Dimple. My opinions mean nothing. They literally mean nothing. I can sit in here in the videos and yes, my head and shoulders on Bitcoin to 3,000 worked out damn near perfectly. Doesn't always happen that way. Ethereum never got to 180, right? It didn't even get to 200. So, I mean, I'm not a fortune teller. All I can tell you is this, is that you need to keep an eye on the price action at key support levels. So this is kind of a key. Actually, this is a little more significant. We have a support level right here, which we're testing. This was tested here, we broke down. So now this is a level of resistance. This is also a level of resistance. So when these resistance lines are being tested, you need to keep an eye on it. You need to see, okay, what's the price action doing, guys? Hey, put your emotions to the side. Don't get scared. Don't get anxious. If you feel that way, stop it. Stop it, okay? Be an objective observer and just trade what you see on the charts. So we have a resistance level here based off of this low and this low. We're chopping around this level. Let's see if we can get some kind of a base-ish formation. All right, and then when we see, let's look in here. So this is a low. I think this was the low of this this consolidation. It looks like it was tested once before, right? So we'll look at a couple of these lows and kind of see what the habit is. So in the moment, how would I personally make the decision that Bitcoin is going to fall at that next resistance line? It didn't cross it. That would be how I would figure it out. I would look for if so, you know, I'll still use this as my example. So, you know, say we're at this resistance point and say we're here in Bitcoin. We're going to chop around a little bit. Look at the volume. The volume is declining, indicating a lessening of selling action. Okay, so I'm going to look at volume and I'm going to look at where the price is headed to decipher that. So I'm going to look at this. Okay, it comes up, it comes down. Okay, how is this bottom bar look? Well, the volume isn't nothing to write home about, so that's, you know, that's a nothing bar, so we can do anything. So we float higher, and then we start floating a little bit lower, and then we test this lower level. How does this hold up? So I'm looking at each individual level, and I'm actually kind of judging merit based on that action. And then here we see a number of green bars in a row, with very low volume, indicating lack of selling for sure. And then we see another selling bar with even lower volume, and then we see a pop. So that's where you buy, right there. So did I kind of walk you through a little bit on how you would navigate these waters? So you really want to look for some kind of base to get in. You don't just want to buy these big up thrusts, especially here. I mean, look, if we were down at 3,000, if I was in this chat room at 3,000 and I started to see, let's go to the 15-minute. You know, and I saw this bar right here, I would be saying, hey, you know what, guys, let's start taking positions. Let's do it, because there's little risk at this level. You're so close to the bottom. You're so close to the bottom that when you're trading, you need to look at risk and you need to look at your reward, because that's what trading is about. It's about what you're willing to risk versus the potential reward. So your risk here at 3,000 right on this bar, even up here, is minuscule. I mean, your risk here is 6%. You have a 6% potential risk here. for a potential upside, just even to this first target, right? Even up here is 27%. That's a 6% risk to a 27% reward. That's like a 4-to-1 risk reward. That's a very excellent risk reward. Now, up here at this level, your reward is 11% with a potential risk of 20%. That's a less opportune risk reward ratio, okay? So if I take this bar by bar, I'm noticing a topping bar right here with a little bit higher volume in the red. So I'm noticing that we may flatten out here, maybe consolidate into some type of a flat pattern that we can base a decision off of. So when I say lack of buyers and lack of sellers, what I'm essentially meaning is we're coming to a point of the market is coming to a consensus. It's really coming to a consensus. So kind of equal buying, equal selling. So if we're buying, so I guess that's really what I'm saying. I'm not going to over-explain that. We're coming to a consensus, and it has to work itself out, and then you can go in the direction of the trend. You want to be with the trend. You don't want to put your thoughts into the market. You want to let the market decipher, not decipher, but you want to let the markets determine what you do. Sorry guys, checking some work email here. Okay. The next buy and sell price for Ethereum and Litecoin. So, you know, Praveen, I'm not about giving you exact prices. I will say this about Litecoin, though. See, here you go. Here you go. This is a base in Litecoin. You can make a decision based off of this. This is actually a bullish pattern in Litecoin. So yeah, we have a consolidation here in Litecoin, right? So notice it consolidated right at a resistance level, and it's going to consolidate. We have declining volume, so this is good. We need to wait to see what direction this is going in. So this is kind of the consolidation that I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like this with a little bit of meat to the bones. And yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking for here. So we can already see a bit of a declining trend line here. I'm anticipating it would do something a little more like this. You know, so you can. So this is a nice consolidation to kind of do some trading off of. You can trade off of this. So I honestly, guys, I wouldn't say this is just a bounce. This thing is going down. Keep in mind, you can make money on bounces. You know, you can make money on bounces. Again, you just have to balance the risk with the reward. And that's why I didn't buy up here, because there's a lot of risk. It could pull all the way back down. Now, if on a longer term time frame, and I think I said this yesterday, we were needing a bounce. We needed a bounce. I mean, we never go straight down. We never go straight down in anything. I mean, there's always a bounce of some kind. And so this is that bounce. Whether it's a bounce and it fails is yet to be seen. Whether it bounces up into this neckline and fails, that is a possibility. Whether it consolidates near the neckline area and continues higher, that is also a possibility. You just can't know. There's no way to know. So in Litecoin, yeah, I would probably, if you wanted to nibble at it, I would probably nibble at it. I mean, it's tough. I know a lot of guys that trade these in a multitude of ways. I know guys that like to buy dips in these patterns. They like to buy the dips in the patterns and get in at a lower price so they have less risk. I know guys that like to buy at the highs. So some won't buy until this is breached, actually. Some won't buy until this level is breached. I'm not that kind of a guy. I want to see some upward action before I would get in. So that's kind of what I would like to see. Trung, what did I call last night? I say a lot of things. Mentions to watch Bitcoin. Yeah, so it looks like Bitcoin we're starting to get a little bit of a consolidation. We hit this resistance level, and this is what we're talking about, guys, right? You need to start to understand support and resistance. I don't know if I've ever said that exact statement, but when I say chart and price action, a lot of it has to do with support and resistance levels. We have done a lot of talking about the head and shoulders because that's the overall pattern. But you need to pay attention to these support and resistance levels as well. They're equally as important. So look, if you want to trade Bitcoin, wait for this to come down. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. If you want to maybe put a trade on, let's look for some resistance levels in this pattern. Maybe we get down here to the 35.54. If you want to nibble at it there, if you guys are really itching to get in, now that we're seeing a bit of a drawdown here. But it's not a huge drawdown. The volume is just diminishing. Let's see if we have kind of a rounded top or if this is a flat. So a bit of a rounded top happening here. A little bit. I mean, not a lot. We're starting to flatten out, right? We're starting to flatten out this trend line. This trend line has now been kind of, we're deep away from the trend line. So the buying pressure has decreased at this point. So now we're going to go ahead and put that base in. Now we're going to go ahead and put this base in, and we're going to see what happens. I still have this 100 moving average up here. Yeah, we're looking at support and resistance. I mean, that's all we're doing in the stock market or in the markets. Sorry, I trade stocks. Speaking of which, let me look at my stocks. What are they doing? To the moon, Alice. Awesome. All right. Everyone in the chat room, go buy PKG. I need this thing to be up another $4. Yeah, rounded tops are not great. They can top over. So that is true. I did talk about that yesterday. Do I think China will continue selling when they wake up? China tends to fade the U.S. market. So whatever the U.S. market is doing, China likes to fade it, is what I've noticed. So Yosemite, someone, I forget who was it, who mentioned this 100 moving average. I don't remember your name. I apologize. Not great with names. But someone, yeah, Michael. There you go. I see it. I found it. Michael Anuzzi's mentioned the 100-day moving average and how on the daily Bitcoin really kind of obeyed the 100 moving average. So I wouldn't necessarily put too much weight onto this moving average line. But you can definitely use moving averages if you find a moving average that works. The problem with moving averages is that each coin, I've noticed, doesn't necessarily follow the same moving averages. So you have to you kind of have to play with that if you want to use moving averages. I like moving averages. They're kind of the only indicator that I use, but I don't really use them in cryptos too much. So what does fade mean? Fade means going the opposite direction. You can fade an upward move to the downside, or you can fade a downward move to the upside. Fade simply means a reversal. Hello, Michael. Yeah, I was giving you a shout out because of your 100 moving average line you mentioned on the daily from Bitcoin. So even with the China news that they can still trade, do I still think it's going to drop? I don't really have an opinion on that. I'm really strictly a chart guy. I'm like strictly charts. So, I mean, do I think the charts can go lower? That we're still in a bearish pattern overall. It doesn't mean this isn't the early part of a bull. It just means that we're still in a bear. So yeah, you know, negative news can tank any, can definitely tank it again. I got no issues with that. So let's see if these even form some kind of a trend line. Kind of. Kind of. So we have an upward, this is kind of a sloppy upward channel, to be honest with you, but this is kind of an upward channel. And we're kind of trending below it now. So as we get into this, where we have a kind of consolidation, sorry guys, I'm gonna get some water. I'll be back in a second. All right, so I'm back. I was actually just gonna say, maybe you can nibble at it now that it's pulled back a little bit, and it just had a little pop. But let's look at this volume. Let's kind of see what's going on. If you guys are actively looking to get into positions, we see a series of higher highs here, a series of higher highs, series of higher lows. It's kind of that cup with handle that Frederick said he was seeing, but in Ethereum. Yeah, Frederick, buddy, get that expect thing out of your head. Get it out. Until you've seen a few market cycles, I would really stay just flat out neutral. If you're neutral in these markets at all times, you're going to make really good decisions. If you have expectations, like I have certain expectations because I've seen a lot of things. So I have expectations, but I don't trade off my expectations. I keep them in the back of my mind as, kind of a very wide roadmap. But I try to make my buying and selling decisions based on the charts. In the moment, really in the moment. So in Ethereum here we have, so this is the minute chart. I mean, this is pretty granular here. So there's quite a bit of buying in here. Look at all these green bars. There's a couple of red bars in here. But we also see a bit of a round over here in Ethereum. Just a bit of a rounding. We've gone up, up, up. Now momentum has slowed. That's why I wasn't buying, because, I don't know. It just didn't look right to me. Yeah, I still am all fiat. I was getting a little antsy when we were, shooting up here, but yeah, I'm still sitting in all cash. Wish I would have gotten no sleep last night is what I'm wishing right now. Yeah, so really, guys, anything can happen at this point. I mean, if you have a position here, good, hold it. Okay, hold this position. If you're already profitable, go ahead and hold it. I have no problem with that. Keep in mind these resistance levels. This is now a support level in 33.98, 3400. This is a support level. This is a minor support level. This is kind of even a minor support level. But if you're not in, I would wait to see what happens with this consolidation that we're currently going through. If it goes to the downside, I mean, maybe you pick up some shares when it comes maybe back down to this 34. I mean, that's a trade. You can make that trade. There's quite a bit of volume here. So if we do get a fade down, look for volume to be quiet. If volume is quiet and we get this drawdown kind of like this right here, if you see quiet volume like this over here and we go down, buy some, take a position. That would be awesome. If we could get something like that, that would be phenomenal. I would agree with you, Michael. That's really why I've been focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. The only one that I'm a little peeved I didn't quite get in on was Omisego. Omisego was really down in the dumps. Here. tested this low, even shook underneath it. I really wanted Omise Go. So what's Lisk doing? Yeah, see, I talked a little bit about this, but not too much. If you notice, this is Lisk against the dollar and Lisk against Bitcoin. Look, against the dollar, Lisk is up 24%. Against Bitcoin, is only up 10% because we just had that big bounce. So it's really you have to pay attention to what you're doing. But a lot of these coins are, the overall market will kill their move, except for a few exceptional leaders. Good question. How many of you were actually awake during the bottom? Let's see a show of hands. Who was awake when we were down near 3,000 in Bitcoin and near 210, 205 in Ethereum? Sorry, guys, looking at a couple of work things here. Dimple, did you get in down there? Oh, Aviad, buddy, you can't wait for me. You can't wait for me. I can't be your guiding light. You need to, teach a man to fish type of a situation. We talked about looking for bottoming action. I try to give you guys some good examples. We need to do an educational series. Anton, screw your guests. There's freaking money on the line, buddy. Tell them to hold on. They'll understand. Sorry, just catching up with comments. I was looking at a work thing. 3,000 at 7 a.m. New York time. Maybe the U.S. Pulled it up. Derek. You know what? When you get gut feelings like that, sometimes you got to go with it. I mean, especially, look, if you're following the channel and you have some pretty good advice, I think my advice here was pretty good, and then you see a fade past that in such a short time frame, if you're live for that, you got to just do it, man. You got to do it. Can't overthink this stuff. And explain what's happening in Litecoin. It's consolidating is what it's doing. So let's go check out Litecoin. Go back to the 15-minute. So yeah, Litecoin's consolidating up here. We had this big spike down to, you saw 33? My God, man. You saw that? Yeah, Litecoin jumped 50%. 50%. I mean, Litecoin is a very good coin. Someone just bought the crap out of it. So it's consolidating. It's sitting down here towards the low of this pattern, but the volume is very low. It can do anything. It can chop around here. If it gets towards the low, if you're interested in Litecoin, I don't see taking a position is a bad thing. I wouldn't go all in on it. But, yeah, if it breaks out of this consolidation, then, game on for the uptrend for the next leg. Dimple just sat there and stared at it. That's the thing, man. That can be difficult. It's a little difficult to pull the trigger. Here's a good tip. If you're at a bottom like that and you're scared, buy it. I mean, again, like I said, you had some good advice about Bitcoin 3000. That was very good kind of fundamental advice. But if it breaches that level, or even Litecoin, someone mentioned Litecoin. I mentioned 37 in the live chat. Man, I didn't expect it to get there last night. But it went down to 37 and bounced very, very hard. So, yeah, if you see those extreme moves down so fast, at some point it's got to retrace. You kind of knew here look at this lack of volume here. I mean, it really was lack of volume. But if you look over here in Litecoin, the volume was heavier, and especially on this green bar. I mean, very heavy volume. So this would have been, yeah, could have been. This was probably literally about 20 minutes you could have bought in. So I don't know. Let's not beat ourselves up about that. Still catching up on the chat here, guys. Bought at 34, 32, then 3,000. Very good, Seikos. Chris Seikos. Very good. Considering taking profits now, I'm scared. If you bought at 3,000, and you're, go back to Bitcoin. So yeah, we're consolidating here. I don't know if I would be scared. So take half. Take half. If you're scared, sell half. Let's go to the 1 minute on Bitcoin. We're getting some selling, some larger volume selling bars here. If we notice, volume started declining, and now we're getting an increase in volume to the downside. Let's kind of see where we end up. Let's draw some trend lines here. What can we infer from this? Do we have this as a trend line? All these other trend lines have been broken. You can draw this one, but that was broken here. Notice that's where the volume started to increase. We can draw this trend line, but we already know that was broken. So could this be support level? This could be a support level. There's a level of support right here. Let's see if this gets broken to the downside. Anyone see a head and shoulders pattern right there? Does anybody see a head and shoulders here on the 1 minute? I do. Now again, it's not a not an ideal head and shoulders pattern again, but it's a reversal type of a pattern, right? You've got, this is a flat shoulder, but it's a form of a reversal. A head and shoulders, you have a big top. So let's kind of infer where this price could go. Boom. So there's kind of a potential level down here at the 34.90 level. You know, this may not work out. This may not work out, but you know, there's a reversal pattern at play here. Well, hey, Michael, at least you're not down. At least you're not down. Sorry, Victor. I'm not going to laugh at you, buddy. I cannot tell you how many bottoms I've sold at. I cannot tell you how many bottoms I've sold at. It's yeah, it's pretty sad how many bottoms I've sold at. It's pretty sad. So what I would do if I were you, Victor, I would just sit and wait. I would be in cash and I would just hang out. Take some time if you need to. You don't have to be here every day. Okay? Go take a walk, go spend some time with your family, go do something. Especially if you're beating yourself up over that. Especially if you're beating yourself up over that. Yeah, so usually what happens there whenever I sell at a bottom, number one, I start yelling at myself. I get very vocal. I get very vocal. I kick my own ass. So, hey, maybe nibble at Bitcoin here. Looks like it's got a little bit of support. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, maybe we get fade. Volume's not exceptional here. But yeah, not looking too bad. This maybe for a little, it's a 5% move. Look at this, guys. How crazy is this? This move right here is 7%, 6%. On a minute chart. 6% on a minute chart. I come from the stock market, man. That is crazy to me. That is ridiculously crazy to me. On a minute chart. God. Oh. Yeah, so let's look at Ethereum. look at Ethereum. So maybe do a little bit of bottom buying here, guys. If you want to trade these bounces, this isn't a bad place to get in. I would maybe do a little bit of bottom buying, kind of see what we have. Look, yeah, this is pretty good right here. I like this right here. I like this right here for an entry. At least for a bounce of some kind. Bitfinex. So let's see if the bounce gets stronger. We got, yeah, there we go, some popping. Where could go? I mean, it could go up to here. You know, this could be the play you take right here for about 5% or so, 4 or 5%. Again, this is just trading. This is being quick. So, trying to line up my order here, but kind of watching it fail a little bit. See what this volume's doing. We still have this rounded top in place. Yeah, maybe I'll wait a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit. But if volume gets really low down here, you know, we could consolidate for a while. That's another possibility. I mean, it's not just, look, we see these big pops, we see these things happen. They're not always going to do that. There are large times of sideways consolidation. So there are large times. So yeah, I guess I'm not going to buy right here. I do like this green bar though. I did like that green bar. That was really nice. That was really nice. You know, Michael, if I'll work with you on that if you want to do that. I will literally work with you if you want to do that. So my TradingView, I don't generally post a lot of my charts to TradingView, not for any good reason, but it's just something I generally don't do. I do occasionally. I did post the Head and Shoulders and Ethereum. My handle is ILLCRX. I actually probably should change that. I can change my handle. See if I can change my handle. Yeah, that's my handle. See if I can change it. How can I change this? I really should kind of keep it all. Oh, here we go. Username. Oh, username cannot be changed, so I guess I can't change it. So there's LCRX is my handle. ILLCRX. So that's my if you're interested, that's my TradingView handle. Ooh, going red again. You almost had me. It almost had me. I almost went back to buying it. You know, perspective is always good. There's one thing about resistance lines, guys. The more times they're tested, the more likely they are to fail. I wanted this thing to V up right here. I was getting a little happy. So this consolidation looks like it wants to go downwards a little more. This is a rising wedge that is bearish. That is bearish. Let's look for something like that. Look at all these lines. A lot of lines on my chart. Get these out of here. Yeah, thank you very much, Alec. I appreciate that. Yeah, so it looks like we're coming up to midday over here in the East Coast, even though I'm not on the East Coast. We're coming up to midday, and looks like things are kind of lightening up. So maybe expect some... Oh, come on, Vlad. There's a lot of people in here. Don't take things personally. Don't take things personally. What was your question? I try to answer all the questions. Please don't take offense if I miss yours. It's not that I hate you. Can you please share your view on how you would read GDAX hotspot? Okay. That's way up on the feed, buddy. I missed that. Read GDAX hotspot. Is the hotspot the thing on the left? Indecision candle with high volume would infer a reversal. By indecision, do you mean like a doji? You referring to like a doji? Is this what you're talking about, or are you talking about this thing? Vlad, are you referring to this or this? On the left or in the middle? Oh, this one? I don't infer too much into it. I really pay more attention to here because I can actually see the numbers. And these little graphs mean a little bit more to me, I guess, than this does. I guess to me, I just relate more to this where I can see the actual numbers. Because like if I'm going to put a trade on, usually, because I do have money in the GDAX. Actually, most of my money is in the GDAX. Oh, the left one? Yeah. So, no, I really like to look at the price. I like to see where these walls are. Like here's a little wall at 19. The only thing I don't like about the GDAX is that these bars aren't always indicative of the actual amount of like this 10. I think this bar should be much larger because it's the largest in it's currently here. That's my personal opinion. But I really do like this tool. I think this is really good. I think this is really good. Like now you can see there's a big selling block here. Right here at 15, there's a big selling block. You can kind of see that. And they just yeah, so there it gets blown through. You know, I do like this. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This is probably my favorite feature of this platform. Other than the fact you can trade for free if you're willing to not get filled for a while. I think that's pretty neat. So here's our wedge. Hey, look at that. It's coming right down to my wedge line. I love it when stuff happens. Yeah, this is, again, another wedge looking to aim us down a little bit more. So, again, guys, as we get this consolidation, if we get another leg lower, let's maybe look to get in. Let's maybe look to jump in here, right? We're talking about trading. We were talking a little fearful. This would be down 12% from the high. You know, maybe if we get down here towards this 236 level, this may be a place to get in. Looks like a 13% downside to the all-time low with a potential upside of 8% if we get up to here. But I will say also keep in mind, as volumes slowly kind of, still quite a bit of selling in here. Look at this. See all these large red bars. Still a little bit of selling in here. So as we go through this pattern, keep in mind we could shop throughout most of the day. We could get choppy. So let's not over trade. Let's try to catch buys. Let's try to time our sells, and let's try to be very patient and have good positions. Okay? I want good quality buys. I want good quality sells, and I want you to be patient. It's okay to sit here and just be cash. That's cool, guys. That's cool. Strong fan, good for you. 32.50 and 29.90. You got 29.90. Good for you. Excellent. Can someone fill me in? What's the candle times? So this is 1 minute. I'm in TradingView.com. This is the 1 minute. This would be the 15 minute. This would be the 2 hour, 1 day. So I'm in the 1 minute because we're really looking very granularly. I can definitely pull out if you need me to, if you want to see a bit of a wider time frame. Yeah, sorry about that. Gotcha. You on the phone or something, Tyler? There you go. Oh, you're talking about Jamie Dimon BSing? Yeah, chat's working. I see you. Don't apologize, Tyler. It's fine. No need to apologize. So confused with Bitcoin now. So what do I think when China wake up tomorrow? I don't know. China likes to fade the U.S. moves. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens. I don't necessarily. I think whenever I go to bed, China's going to make a move on me, is what I think. I did do a little bit of Litecoin analysis. For crying out loud, Litecoin. Someone mentioned yesterday, where could Litecoin go? And I mentioned 37 in the live stream. And man, it came right down. This is my trend line I drew yesterday. And oh my goodness, it just straight up pierced that and then came right back up. That's just phenomenally ridiculous. I'm so upset that I was asleep. So upset that I was asleep. Anyway, what is it doing now? It's actually failing out of its higher level consolidation is what it's doing. This is why I mentioned, excuse me, I mentioned some guys like to buy lows. Some guys like to buy highs. The higher you buy, the more likely it is that your buy is going to work out. So if you buy at lows, this is the risk you run of it just failing on you instantly. But if you do buy at these lows, you really need to understand the price action. So this pop in price was partially caused by the news that Baboy and OKCoin will still be allowed to trade the 30th. You know, I wouldn't worry about why the bounce happened. Do not get caught up in the news, guys. Do not get caught up in the news. Turn it off. If you can't turn it off, don't give it any weight to your thought process. You need to be informed. You need to understand. Sorry, guys. I'm not feeling too good, and my throat's pretty dry here. Sorry. Yeah, Tyler, perfect. You know, you missed the real low. I did too. So did 99% of the world. But yeah, so we are going to get a drop at some point here. I don't know if it's going to go back down to this low. That's really low. I mean, that's just really low. If you guys haven't seen my Bitcoin 1200 video, I posted that last night. I posted that last night. It's not meant to scare you people. It's not meant to make you not trade and not buy. In fact, in the video, I do mention we need a bounce up. We do need to move into some trend lines. We're not going there immediately, but you know, take a look at that. Keep that in mind. Have some fun discussion happening in there with a bunch of haters too. So that's always fun. But the Bitcoin 1200 video, yeah, I know 33. Someone said they watched it at 33, and anyway. But I was trying to get at, live stream should continue until Bitcoin hits 3,000 again. You know, guys, I wouldn't mind that, but I can't make a living doing this live stream. You know, if you guys would be willing to do some kind of a subscription-based service, I could probably spend more time on here, but I have a lot of responsibilities to my household that I need to go fulfill at some point. Anyway, The Bitcoin 1200 video essentially talks about us being very parabolic up here. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll give you the quick and dirty rundown. So from this high to this high was 350%. From this high to this high was 330%. It's basically a measured move up here, okay? Now, that being said, this definitely could be a top, and we could be in for this type of a downturn. There's a lot of people in Bitcoin that have a huge belief in Bitcoin, and I'm with them, guys. I believe in Bitcoin. I believe in the technology. I think it's the future 10, 20 years from now. I also spend a lot of time looking at these kinds of charts. Okay, let me tell you where I'm coming from. These are the kind of charts that I look at. This is the US stock market. Let me give you a bigger picture. Do I have a weekly up here? Of the S&P 500. What do I want to do? SPY. Okay, well, let's go out to a very long-term chart. Very long-term. Oh, SPY doesn't go back that far. Anyways, I go back to the stock market. What the point I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter what you want to happen. It doesn't matter what you think should happen. It matters what the charts are doing. It matters what the price action is telling you. So, yeah, Shopify. What are they doing lately? Let's look at Shopify. If you want to talk stocks, I'm all about it. I forget their symbol. Oh, it is shop. Hey, go Shopify. Look at you. Well, of course, I'm on a monthly chart, right? I'm on a monthly chart. Shopify. Good for you, Shopify. Yeah, I missed all of this move. Two other moves that I missed completely is Race. If you guys know about Race, that's Ferrari. They just went freaking crazy. And what is the Ripple? Was it 15 cents, Dimple? Fizz. Fizz is one that's really spectacular. Anyway, enough about stocks. I know most of you probably aren't familiar with U.S. stocks. Ripple, 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 Dimple. You almost rhyme. Did it get down to 15 cents? Oh, I talked about 15 cents. Guys, these things happen time and time again. Yeah, so it is. We're on the daily. Let's go to the 2-hour. So I will say one thing Ripple has going for it that some others do not is this has a big potential to be an institutional coin. What I mean by that is there's a potential, I'm saying potential, for this to be eaten up by big banks and really be supported, kind of like, yeah. How do you learn what I know? You spend 15 years getting your ass handed to you and learning the hard way. Or you can read a lot of really good books, a lot of really good books out there on general trading. Most of it is regarding the stock market, but most of it will pertain to cryptocurrencies as well. You just have to shift between the stock market and cryptos. There's a shift in mindset that has to happen. It's a little bit differently. It's differently. It's not even really. It's a little bit different in the fact that the time frames are exponentially smaller. I mean, these moves that we see, there we go. Let's get rid of some lines here. There we go. We pulling back here? Are we done going down? I got a lot of bars here. We're on a lot of bars, guys. Did my my head and shoulders pan out? Looks like it did. All right, Ethereum. I want to jump in Ethereum. Where'd my volume go? Sorry, guys, gotta take care of my charts. How did I get rid of my volume? Can't trade without volume. Seriously, where's my volume? If anyone knows off the top of your head how to get me volume, I would appreciate a little bit of assistance. Rating panel on the bottom. Icon top left. One of these? Those are moving averages. Maybe here? Rating panel on the bottom. Here? So you're going to tell me I have to pay just to get volume in here. Oh, I should put it as an indicator. Yeah, I can do that. Let's do that. Sorry guys, there's like a 10-second delay between chats, so it's really hard for Hey! Hey, and I even have more solid bars here. You're my star of the day. Thanks, Max. You're the man, buddy. I was actually getting kind of pissed these were all faded out. They're solid now. I love it. Everyone give Max a thumbs up for getting our volume back on our charts. Round of applause for Max. Thank you, sir. You know, Vlad, volume is for beginners. I'm hoping one day I can trade without it. Until then, I'll just have to keep using it, you know? I'll just have to keep trying and hoping it works. So yeah, we're getting really choppy here, folks. We are just kind of chopping around. We still, oh, I love this volume being, it was much more opaque before. This is much nicer. This makes my eyes feel good. There you go, Max. Thumbs up for Max. Good job. Thank you. Yeah, 248. 8% pop. Declining volume. This looks pretty bullish here. Boys and girls. And of course hope you don't break to the downside on me. I'm gonna buy this right here actually. Haven't done it yet. Looking at it. Let me take a smaller position. Let's see what the he's selling up there. He's selling up there. All right, guys. I'll be back in 10, fellas. I'll be back in 10. Keep the chat happy. That way, if some new people come in, they don't think that we're not doing anything here. I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm not buying Bitcoin. Alright guys, I'm back for now. Back for now. Is this the minute chart? This looks like the daily chart on Bitcoin. I thought this was the daily chart. See what Ethereum's doing. Yeah, still pointing down. No, I still haven't bought yet. You lost 30% on pay. Good job. Alright, hold on. Work is calling. Are you kidding me? Oh crap. I trust on pump and dumpers one day or the other it will definitely bounce back. Alright guys, sorry. Guys, I need to check something real quick. I'm sorry, I had I didn't buy any ETH yet. I didn't buy any ETH. None yet, none yet. So when I go to place an order, what I do is I actually usually have to log in, have to kind of wait for things to settle, and then the chart's, it's either running, because I tend to buy like right when things go one way or the other. That's just kind of how I've been conditioned myself, and so it kind of ends up that way. And what I do is even when I buy, I'll sit and I'll just wait. Like I won't put the order in because I have a habit of anticipating. So like I was anticipating a little bit. I think it was like up here or wherever it was. I was anticipating. That is a flaw of mine, is anticipating. So I'll put the order in, and well, I will have the order ready. I won't hit send yet. I'll just kind of sit there with my finger on the button, just watching, and then if it goes, then boom, I'll go ahead and buy it. Otherwise, I'll just sit on it. So yeah, let me check on something real quick, guys. I'll be back in a minute. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm back. So I just told my dad to come out on vacation at the same time someone else at work is taking a vacation, and I'm supposed to cover for them. So this should be interesting. Anywho, Dillman, OK Cash, and Trig. Let's look at OK Cash. There's a little bit of interest in Ethereum. Let's go out to the 4 hour for our OK Cash buddy. So nothing too crazy going on right here. Some nice volume to the upside. Nice volume to the upside right there. On an even shorter time frame, we have a little inverse head and shoulders pattern. Looks like we're testing the lows right here of this inverse, or the breakout line of this inverse head and shoulders. So this trend line was tested and is so far failed. So I wouldn't do too much right here with OK Cash. You know, Fotis, the pairs don't matter that much. You know, even up here I've got, where do I have, I think Lisk. I've got Lisk Bitcoin and Lisk US dollar. Let me tell you something about these charts. Are they really that different? They're really not. I mean, there's a little bit of a difference. I mean, look, the US dollar Lisk is up 20%. With Bitcoin, it's only up 9%. It's because you're waiting on Bitcoin, you're weighted against something that is moving versus the US dollar, which is something that really doesn't move that much. Patreon and Discord channel? What do you mean channel? Is that a Slack channel or are those coins? You know, guys, until the market just completely proves it is bullish here, I really wouldn't be heavily getting into anything. I mean, we have a nice bottom here at the 3,000 level of Bitcoin, but yeah, so I'm not going to catch everything, Fotis. I mean, it's impossible. You know, you're going to look at some charts, I'm going to look at some charts, but I mean, overall, you're going to see bullishness and you're going to see bearishness. I don't think that's going to change really based on what you're trading in. So, I mean, you didn't have to see Head and Shoulders here in Litecoin to understand that it, you know, ever since the pop and it started coming down, you didn't. It's just price action, buddy. It's just price action. Oh, Patreon. I know what you're talking about, Patreon. Yeah, I'll write that down. I'll look into that. I'll look into Patreon. Yeah, so you talking in terms of, are you still on Litecoin? You need to see a higher low? So here's the thing. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't mind if you take in some positions in here. I don't mind that at all. It's your account. You guys can do what you want. Do what you're gonna do. You know, this probably is a pretty decent place to take some positions because you're gonna have, especially kind of right now, we're kind of sitting towards the lows of these in these areas. I'd like it to get a little lower, but you know, we don't always get what we want. Okay, but longer term, we still have this declining trend line to contend with as well. So it's hard to say the bottom is in. It really looks like a bottom. Is it the bottom? I don't know. That's really hard to tell. You're talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, higher low on Bitcoin would be nice. Would be very nice. Looking at the 2-hour chart on Bitcoin, we've come back. We've tested this 3,000 level. Yeah, but typically your higher low would come in over here at some point. I don't have access to margin. Max is asking about margin and my thoughts on margin trading. cryptos are very volatile. They're volatile enough, okay? So they're really, really volatile. I mean, as we saw earlier, we saw, what was it, a 20% decrease in something in like 10 minutes or something like that. We were looking at some chart, I forget what it was. It was like 8%. It was 8% on the 1 minute chart. So there's plenty of volatility. The whole point of trading is to not blow out your account. If you trade on margin, if you get 2 times margin, that means you can trade with twice the amount of money that you have in your investment account. That means if you have a stock that tanks 50% overnight, you are done. You are done. So I don't mind you trading margin if you've been doing it for a while and you really see an opportunity. I mean, if you have the opportunity to trade margin, I would only trade margin if you're pretty seasoned, you're profitable, number one. And if you see like an opportunity, like a good opportunity to go on margin with would probably be this Monero trade back here. Like this would be a very nice place to put margin on, because it's a very well defined. It's a leading coin. It's coming out of a consolidation area. Also with Bitcoin back at 3,000, that would be a pretty good place to trade on margin right here on this breakout. Because I mean, it was such a clear breakout. If you could have caught that right there, that would have been great. But I wouldn't be on margin up here. It's just too choppy. Wait, I mean, maybe you go a little bit here. This is this cup with handle. Maybe you could have gone a little bit there, but only a few select places. I mean, there's enough volatility in the market. You could just get washed out and murdered. A lot of red. Speaking of washing out and murdered, look at all that red. Ugh. Ugh, icky. Icky, icky. All right, guys, bear with me. I cooked some waffles. They are done. I'm going to go put some butter on those things and eat some food. I'll be back and watching. So if you guys want to chat, I'll be chatting. I know it's a video stream. I should be talking. I understand. Yeah, no, Kabichi, I went ahead and muted. I cooked some breakfast and kind of sitting here chomping on it. Didn't want to chomp in your guys' ears. No, stream's not over. How's it going, Eric? Yeah, I think last night when I was going to bed, you said that's when you let me know you were from Korea. And now I'm up and you're going to bed, and there you go. So I missed the bottom in Ethereum. I don't know if you're able to catch it, buddy. I completely missed this bottom in Ethereum. I was asleep at the time. So right now, we have a very nice pop, a very nice run up on this 1 minute chart. We do have a little bit of selling on the right side of this, a little bit of selling right here since this top. And I'm contemplating taking a position for a trade somewhere down here. If we can get down to this level, this seems to be, I don't know if this is going to, we're right at an inflection point here. That there's there's a support level here. There's going to be a support level here. I mean, if we can get down into here and start to see some increased buying, then I'll probably get in again, or possibly for a play somewhere up in here. So that's kind of my take. So when Bitcoin sideways or down, I think we generally so right now it looks like we may trade around this area. I think we're going to be choppy for a little bit here. We've come straight up off of this bottom, right? We've really hasn't been a lot of time at all. So it's been about 4 hours from this bottom to this top, about 4 hours. And that is quite a move too. I think this is like 20%. It's 25%. We're up 25% in 4 hours. That's going to take some time to work off. And then once this consolidation ends, that'll give us a lot more insight as to where the market's going. So head and shoulders are relevant on any time frame. Any pattern is relevant on any time frame. So actually I drew out this head and shoulders and it played out down to this level. This overall does kind of look like a different kind of head and shoulders, if you will. It's the same general pattern, right? You have higher highs, a top, and then lower highs on the right side. So it's the same general pattern. I mean, if you want to infer this as a larger head and shoulders, then maybe we come back down right to this trend line. Funny how that works out. Maybe we come down to this trend line, and then we just kind of see if this holds and how that works out. Sorry, guys. If I'm pausing because I'm chewing, I'm trying not to chew in your ear. How do we track cryptos across multiple exchanges and multiple coins? You're looking for something like Quicken for crypto, so I know exactly which exchange has what coins and maintains it. So if you want to know what trades where, you can go to CoinMarketCap if you haven't seen this yet. You can go to coinmarketcap.com, click on any coin. Let's click on Ethereum. And then you go over here to markets. And it'll actually tell you everywhere that coin trades. And even the volume, the price, the percentage of the overall volume. And some of them don't get updated that often, so it says recently here. But so as you can see, the price can kind of vary widely. So these are the Chinese ones, the 193, 198, right? These are the Chinese ones that are like in the really, really low dumps. They're just having a hard time selling all their Ethereum. 135? Where can I buy that? Wow. Anyway, and then chance in my mind of Bitcoin going down again. Are you referring to down to this level or down below 3,000, Diogo? Diogo? Is it Diogo? So Bitcoin to 3,200, I mean, there's a possibility. I mean, it's right down here. It's not too far away. It's not far away at all. Yeah, it's really not that far away at all. I mean, it's possible. So we were due a bounce, right? We know that. We've talked about that. We've been due a bounce. You can't go down as far as we've gone, as far away from these trend lines as we've gone. Like, look at this longer term trend line here. Let's get rid of this one. Actually, I'm going to keep it. Just ignore this one. Look at this. We are so far from this trend line. I mean, these things, if we draw this out, even this right here, I mean, you can't get too far from the trend before it reverses, right? So anytime you're in an extreme, it's due a bounce. It's going to bounce, okay? Now the question is, are we going to get to 3,200, which is here? You know, we have a lot of time to make that decision. And that's not a decision I get to make, unfortunately. So we have until, looks like, a month or so for this to play out. This could chop sideways. This could go anywhere in this area here. Anywhere, right? So if you drew this trend line right here, let's go ahead and play around with this. You know, let's zoom in here. Let's forget that existed. Let's say we live here. Okay, let's say we live here. Maybe we're right about here in this pattern, or right about here in this pattern. Okay, we go up, we create a new trend line, because keep in mind, you know, if we're trading below here, then this is our trend line, and then we come up to here, and this pulls back. So now this is our trend line. So our trend line is evolving. Okay, our trend line is evolving. It comes up, it hits this trend line, which you can draw by this bar. It hits it and fails. Okay, so we have quite a bit of movement possible. Quite a bit of movement possible. It doesn't come up and come down and come up and come down and come up and come down. It goes sideways. Look right here. You know, there's action right here that's really sideways, really sideways, really sideways, really sideways, really sideways. So it can go sideways. So 3,200, is it in the cards? It's probably in the cards. Do we see a big hump here like this? Wow. Oh, snap. Something went wrong. Fastinator, hi. There's audio. I'm actually eating, so I'm muting my audio. So it looks like you must have just joined. Should you get any buy readies order, Eric? I mean, if you, that's hard to say, man. I don't know what kind of trader you are. I don't know. I don't know what your risk tolerance is. I mean, I'm nervous as it is holding cryptos overnight, let alone trying to tell someone else what to do with their money. That's really difficult. You bought ETH at 247. I think you should hold it. 247? That's not bad at all. You're fine. All right, Eric. Sorry, rereading your post here. Should I make any purchase orders ready for while I sleep? Should I buy in now for Ethereum? Have fiat currency ready? Was lucky to buy Ethereum at the bottom earlier today. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Yeah, if you bought at the bottom, for now, I would probably call you an investor if you want to hold that. If you did get in down here, let's say you got in below 212. Yeah, let's say you got in below 212. I just hold it. I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think we're going to cave directly into this. Like I said, there's a lot of time that needs to be eaten up here on these charts in order for it to be a healthy chart. And all charts like to be healthy. They all like to be healthy. Like even this long down, look at this one. I mean, boom, we cracked all the way down here. I mean, I kind of think we're in this likely of a scenario, right? Where we come down, we come up, and then we kind of just go downward on this trend line. That's kind of, I mean, this is actually literally an opinion. This isn't even anything the charts are telling me. It's just kind of what it looks like. It looks like we're coming up to old highs. Maybe it comes up and retests this, and then we shake back down again. I mean, I think we're in a longer term downtrend. I think this is a pop. I think this is a bounce. But again, that's my opinion. If you guys want to trade, get some in at these lows and let's make some trades. I mean, I want to make a trade here. I'd love to make a trade here. I can't see anything. There we go. All right, gonna mute again for a second. See that core coin? When did this thing pop? 9 o'clock? I was live streaming then. No one mentioned that. I'm gonna blame you guys. I'm not gonna take responsibility for that. Just kidding. I'm kind of kidding. Nice core coin making a move. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. It is, yeah. Well, it's been down in the dumps, so I can't blame anyone for missing that. Cloak coin's been doing really good today. Kind of sitting up here towards the highs, come up in really big volume. Look, this is nice volume. This is nice volume. This is nice volume. And Cloak Coin actually has a larger cup in play here. So it's nice to see it getting back up towards those highs. The higher this goes, the higher this stays, the more likely it is to break out into all-time highs. That goes for any coin that tests certain support or resistance levels. PTOY 23%. Looks like was up higher than that. Coming back down here. These are some smaller coins just playing around with. What else do we have here? What large coins of consequence are doing moves or making moves? 30%. That's BitConnect. You don't count. And Dash 15%. What are you doing, Dash? Dash came all the way down pretty much to this breakout point. Everyone's testing this breakout. Everyone kind of had that first initial breakout, and it looks like they all held up for now. None of them have really gone past their high level consolidations. They've all kind of stalled here. So we're in a holding pattern. I guess the holding pattern is going to be China. I don't think the U.S. is gonna do a lot of movement. Looks like we're kind of in a bit of a holding pattern. So just chopping it up. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off the live stream. I've got one scheduled for 12:30. I'm going to take a bit of a break, take care of some work stuff, and then get back at it. So there's that. I'm going to give it a couple seconds in case you guys have any questions before I head out, as I usually do. Try to give you guys some notice. If you didn't know, there's a 10-second lag from when I speak to when you guys actually hear me. Kind of like talking with someone going to the moon. You have to wait a little bit. I'll answer Vlad's question real quick. He mentioned the left side of GDAX right here. I only read this at inflection points, Vlad. I don't read this all the time. I don't sit and stare at this. I do try to see if there are large buy and sell orders. Like here's a 64 block, here's a 36 block, 41 block, right? So here's a 50 block sitting at the 3533 level. I pretty much look for big orders. That's pretty much all I look for. I look for the spread to see if the spread is really wide. If it's really wide, then if I want to take a trade, I jump on that. I have my orders ready usually when I'm trading in the GDAX, because the whole point is that you're trying to trade it for free. Frederick, it's actually 10:42 in the morning. I'm just kind of getting off. I have some work stuff to do, and I've got something scheduled at. I have a live stream scheduled at 12:30, so 2 hours or so. Give me a second. Got to respond to this. So, yeah, that's how I read this. I pretty much just look at. I try to look at where these walls are. I mean, you can get an idea here as well. So they're both kind of the same tool. This is a visual representation. This is more of a numerical representation. I don't know why I like this one better. I just think because I can see the prices, but I do prefer this one. And I just look to see where the walls are. I like to see what gets cleared, because like I remember one time I sat here on the GDAX and there was like 15,000 ether selling on the GDAX. I'm like, well, I want to place an order. This is never going to get filled. And I tried to place a few orders and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, that's how I read the GDAX. I'm going to get out of here. Something about a big gap. I don't remember anything about a big gap, Frederick. Remember anything about a big gap. So, all right, guys, I'm going to bone out of here. I'm going to go do some work. Rest, maybe watch a little bit of TV for a minute. Keep an eye on the markets. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'll be on here in about 2 hours again for a scheduled live stream at 12:30. Thanks, guys.